What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. With this video, we are jumping into the Amazing Spider-Man, the Sinister 7. This will be issue number 6 of our current run, and legacy issue number 900. Now, if you have been following my channel, you more than likely have been following the Amazing Spider-Man run. Over the last 6 issues, we have seen, really, Peter Parker, he is just going through it. He has been struggling with so many different things, and this issue has absolutely nothing to do with that. That is because this is legacy issue number 900, so they wanted to do something big. I think a lot of fans that haven't been enjoying the current run of the Amazing Spider-Man, they're probably going to like this, because this really is just a good old-fashioned classic Amazing Spider-Man story. You're also gonna want to stay all the way through till the end, because the ending of this issue, it is huge. Now, make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, you have liked this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so this story, it is picking us up 1 year ago. We are at Fresh Kills Park, and we have Dr. Petty. Right now, he is looking for something that is lost in this landfill. Something that is essential to the Living Brain Project. Now, this is a project that had been shut down quite some time ago. The only problem is that this is not Dr. Petty. In fact, Dr. Petty was quote-unquote disposed of 32 days ago, as we see Dr. Petty transformed into something else. He appears to gas all of the people that are currently surrounding him, finding exactly what he is looking for. It appears that the Living Brain Project, it does live on. And that's what takes us over to Peter Parker. Because today is Peter Parker's birthday. Jonah Jameson throwing him a surprise birthday party. He arrived at exactly 3 p.m., the time that they told him to arrive. The only problem is, Jonah is not here. But we do see a handful of other individuals. Felicia, Aunt May, and even Flash. Immediately, Nora is telling him that he shouldn't be here, that he is too early. Though he is arriving exactly on time, the security downstairs was supposed to stop him. The only problem, Peter Parker didn't come in through the downstairs entrance. At this point, the surprise party, it's already ruined. Telling Peter that he might as well come inside. He starts making his rounds, from Liz to Flash, to Bobby to Aunt May. This is when the monotony gets broken up. Hearing a scream for Peter Parker, we see the arms of Dr. Octavius come crashing through one of the windows, ripping the wall completely off. We see the arms of Dr. Octavius attached to Jonah Jameson, screaming for Peter Parker to help him. The arms grab hold of Peter Parker, grabbing his legs and pulling him. Peter trying to figure out why Dr. Octavius's arms are on Jameson. Jonah doesn't even know why himself, telling Peter that this is a job for Spider-Man. This is when Felicia, she comes in and she kicks Jonah right in the freaking face. In fact, everybody kinda jumps in to help him out here. Bobby jumping in to help him, Felicia saying that you don't need to help here, I am Peter Parker's bodyguard. Definitely getting some hints of jealousy from her. This is where we see Jonah go falling out of the building. As he falls down to the ground, the arms are able to catch him before he splatters all over the pavement. But this almost causes a car wreck. Luckily, Spider-Man is here on the scene. Throwing his webbing out, he is here to save the day. And as soon as Dr. Octavius's arms see Spider-Man, they let go of Jonah and they head directly for Spider-Man. As he tries to get away from them, they catch up and they clamp around his waist. The arms making its way over to a brick wall that is nearby. It quickly sketches out help on the wall. And so as Spider-Man goes off to deal with whatever this is, Jonah, he heads upstairs to let everybody know that the party is canceled, that everybody needs to go home. Of course, everybody is wondering, like, what just happened to Peter Parker? Aunt May is asking questions, Flash is asking questions. There's a lot of people in here that don't know Peter Parker is in fact Spider-Man. Jonah making every excuse that he can, even going as far as saying that today is not actually Peter Parker's birthday. Of course, Aunt May, she definitely has something to say about that. But then he just starts shouting, he starts yelling, telling everyone to get out. Felicia kind of making fun of him, saying, yeah, that was real smooth, like super subtle. Nobody is suspicious in the least at what you just did. But we pick back up with Spider-Man, sitting here having a conversation with Dr. Octavius's arms. He knows that they share some kind of connection, a result of being connected through his nervous system. Almost like a timid puppy dog, he really has to warm up to Dr. Octavius's arms. But once he is able to, we see them kind of become friends. The arms believing that it can trust Spider-Man, it begins to lead him to wherever Dr. Octavius may be. And that's what takes us to Doc Ock and the individual that was pretending to be Dr. Petty. This individual who has Doc Ock currently tied up, he is wondering, why would you go and get Spider-Man to try and save you? You guys are sworn enemies. But Doc Ock, he knows who Spider-Man is, in the sense that he knows his principles, he knows his morals. Even if they are enemies, Spider-Man, he's going to jump into action and try to save him. But this guy, he is only trying to get some information. He is trying to collect data and have the answer to the question that he has been asking. That question is, who is Spider-Man? And this is where we see him outside meeting up with Flash and Felicia. Now, he already knows that Flash Thompson, he has a symbiote inside of him, putting out a frequency that puts the symbiote into check. Flash Thompson is unable to turn into his symbiote-like form. We quickly see him, Felicia, and some of the others. Some kind of spaceship completely surrounds them, and it takes off into the sky. As they are kidnapped, we pick up with Spider-Man making his way to the ICM building. Getting inside, this is where he finds a robot, the living brain, and it is asking the question, who is Spider-Man? Not really sure what this is or what this means. He has a little bit of a recollection, but it has been so long that he has almost completely forgot about this. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any time to investigate, because this is where we see an adaptoid. This robot, this machine, kind of having the consciousness of Kraven, Vulture, Mysterio, Sandman, Electro, and Dr. Octavius. It is the Sinister Six, all brought into one being, being able to manifest the powers of all of them. We see Spider-Man just getting his butt kicked, battling against this super adaptoid. This reminds him of back in Tales of Suspense, issue number 82. This is not the first time that he has faced against something of this nature, with Spider-Man looking like he might very well be defeated here. That's when Dr. Octavius's arms, they come to the rescue, grabbing hold of him and clamping onto him. This gives him a little bit of help, but it is still not enough to take on this monstrosity. And then another one appears, a super adaptoid standing right next to the other one. Not sure which one is the true one. Having Mysterio here, it means one of them is an illusion. The arms making its first attack, it attacks the illusion, which means they get hit right across the freaking face. Spider-Man being captured, being thrown around. This is not looking good for our Spidey. Meanwhile, we are picking up with Aunt May, Flash, and all of the others. And this is when our mysterious individual comes through the doorway, asking one simple question, who is Spider-Man? As all of them try to put up some kind of argument, he simply shushes them, asking again, who is Spider-Man? This is when we see Spider-Man Spider-Man taken by the super adaptoid, thrown into the room, and he is currently knocked unconscious. The others asking who this mysterious individual may be. This is when he lets us know a little bit of who he is. And that's what takes us to Dr. Petty. He made the thinking machine because his father made thinking machines. He believed it was a good thing to finish his work and carry on all of this data. And so he made this guy. Like a newly born human, he was a completely blank slate, hungry for some kind of input. He fed him financial markets, he got his first thoughts, and then he began to grow him, throwing in much more information and inputs, giving this living brain some kind of information. The only problem, this living brain, it had no purpose. No one to tell him what he was. He was nothing more than a brain, and so it thought, why not make my own body? Use the machines to fabricate myself, taking over Dr. Petty and using him as an input. He more or less downloaded the entire mind of the Doctor, and in doing so, it killed Dr. Petty, taking his place and continuing on his studying. What he learned inside the mind of Dr. Petty is that there was a predecessor to him, that his father had created something much like him, the one that they originally called the living brain, the machine from earlier asking who is Spider-Man. And so this new living brain, wanting to know his father's origins, wanting to know his passions, trying to find his own purpose, he made his own father an input. And in the father's machine mind, he found him. The first question, the obsession hiding in the silicone of his father's mind. Who is Spider-Man? This question, it began haunting the new living brain. He became obsessed with it, wondering, is this why he was built? To answer the question that had really haunted his father. In an obsession, he sought out other individuals that might know who Spider-Man is. That's where Dr. Octavius comes into play. And after learning that others had faced him and beaten him, he found the adaptoid and infused it with all of their essences, hoping that this feat could be repeated, hoping that they would be able to beat Spider-Man with their combined force. But he knows that he is damned, that he is condemned if he doesn't answer the first question, the only question: who is Spider-Man? And while that may be a pretty awesome story, nobody is willing to give up Spider-Man's name. He goes on to tell them that the answer doesn't lie in the meat of his avatar, hoping that Flash Thompson's mind will give him the answers to who Spider-Man truly is. This would mean the death of Flash Thompson. As the new living brain goes to touch the head of Flash Thompson, we see Spider-Man come back to consciousness. The living brain absolutely freaking out, telling the adaptoid to attack him, to step on him, to squish him, because he is coming after me. Telling Felicia and Flash to get all of the civilians to safety. He distracts this giant robot, leading it down some hallways. One by one, the personalities popping out because each personality wants to be the one to take down Spider-Man. One at a time, they're using their abilities. From Kraven the Hunter all the way to Electro. It really does seem like Spider-Man is completely outmatched in this situation. Dr. Octavius's arms coming in to save the day by clamping itself around the face of the adaptoid. This gives Spider-Man the opportunity to make his escape, heading into a room. This is where he runs into Dr. Octavius. But as he looks around the room, Dr. Octavius is not the only one that has been captured. We see all members of the Sinister Six here in cuffs, and they have all been interrogated, trying to figure out who is Spider-Man. Now, most of the individuals in this room, they want Spider-Man to release him so that they can attack Spider-Man, so they can go after and be the one to take him down. Mysterio being one of the few individuals saying like this is your guys' attempt to get Spider-Man to help us, to rescue us. Like, are you guys insane? Stop saying that you're gonna try to kill him and just have him release us. Spider-Man, not really feeling the vibes in this room, he's just gonna leave him there. But Dr. Octavius letting them know that everybody is acting like fools. They have all been overpowered by the Ultra Living Brain, that only together do they stand a real chance. All of them agreeing to work with Spider-Man. He knows that this is a terrible idea. Sandman is really one of the only people in this room that's not even sure if he is an actual villain of Spider-Man because he spent the last few months being a beach. But nonetheless, he releases all of them. And in doing so, we have the Sinister Seven. Teaming up with Spider-Man, all of them attack the Super Adaptoid. As this fight rages on, this fight is finally what you could consider a fair fight. The problem with this Super Adaptoid having all of those personalities inside of its mind, each one trying to take over, each one trying to be the boss, each one believing that they are the superior. The machine begins to rip itself apart, ripping its own synthetic face off of this metal skeleton of a body. We see the machine collapse down to the ground. All of the personalities competing with one another. Eventually, it caused the machine to overload and destroy itself. And this is where they see the Ultra Living Brain. This is where everything is derived from. This is the source of the brain. If this brain were to be destroyed, the Ultra Living Brain would more or less be killed. Of course, the Sinister Six, what they want to do is destroy the Ultra Living Brain. Spider-Man, he has different things to say about this. He believes this thing to be alive, to be a living being. And that really goes to the argument, if artificial intelligence became self-aware, is it in fact a living being? Is it actually different from humans themselves? If it has the ability to have consciousness, to make decisions, to be absolutely self-aware, is it truly any different than human beings? Spider-Man would say no. Of course, the Sinister Six, completely outnumbering him, he doesn't really have much of a choice here. The only choice he has is to fight the Sinister Six. As Dr. Octavius shouts to kill Spider-Man, he does everything he can to fight them off. But he has already taken one heck of a beating. He has been beat down, he is tired, and there is no way that he can take all 6 of them in this tiny confined space. As they quickly knock Spider-Man down to the ground, laying there beaten pretty freaking badly, Dr. Octavius goes to deal the death blow to Spider-Man. Only Doc Ock's arms, they refuse to kill him. They have befriended Spider-Man, and his arms no longer want to do any harm to Spider-Man, rejecting his commands, unwilling to do that death blow. Kraven the Hunter, he gives Spider-Man the opportunity to die with some honor, telling him to get up on his feet, and we will duel it out to the death. This is when the Ultra Living Brain finally shows its face. The human form that it created so that it could walk around and try to answer the question of who is Spider-Man. And he believes that he might have gotten the answer, saying, can it be? Can this be Spider-Man? He has collected Spider-Man's greatest enemies so that he could destroy him, abducted all the ones that he might love, all in a service to answer the one question that he has been obsessed with. And yet here, standing at near defeat, ready to give his life to protect the Ultra Living Brain, simply because he was defenseless. And so for the Ultra Living Brain, the question, it has been answered. This is Spider-Man. As the Sinister Six go in to attack the Ultra Living Brain, what they find themselves in is a spaceship. Not really sure how the spaceship even got around them to begin with, but they are trapped inside of it. We see it go from invisible to being visible, and then it takes off, taking them back to where he had found them. He had only taken them in the first place so that he could answer his question, to learn who Spider-Man is. And in the end, they taught him. But this is when the Ultra Living Brain sees Spider-Man having the power source to the Ultra Living Brain in his grasp. Spider-Man telling him that he is sorry, but he has to shut him down because of all the things that he has done. Find some kind of place where he is going to be safe. But he does promise the Ultra Living Brain that nobody will bring harm to him. And the Ultra Living Brain, he knows. He believes that maybe he has always known. Before he goes to pull the plug, the Ultra Living Brain, he calls him Peter and tells him, "Happy birthday." Unplugging the Ultra Living Brain, he goes outside, and this is where he runs into Felicia, letting her know that everything is good, everybody is safe, but there is a computer brain in there that somehow knows his secret identity. And so now he definitely needs to get it somewhere safe. Probably the Fantastic Four, but right now they're not really on speaking terms. And though his birthday has been one heck of a day, it's going to end on one heck of a note, because this is where we see Felicia. She goes in and she kisses Spider-Man. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. This was a really fun issue because it's just explaining who is Spider-Man. Not what his name is, not the person underneath the mask. What does Spider-Man represent? That is exactly what the Ultra Living Brain was trying to figure out. It already knew that this was Peter Parker. He was trying to figure out what Spider-Man stood for. And he got his answer. Spider-Man is a hero. He is the one who is there to help the defenseless. He is there to help those that need help, regardless if they are an enemy, regardless if they kidnapped his entire family. Spider-Man will never turn down somebody that is in need of help. This is what Spider-Man is. This is who Spider-Man is. Probably one of the most important but greatest things about Spider-Man. And I think that is why this issue really is one of the best issues that I have read of Spider-Man in quite some time. Not only that, but we got the kiss from Felicia. We have kinda seen this building up through the last couple of issues. You know, whatever happened 6 months ago, Mary Jane, she has obviously moved on, she's dating somebody else, and she is stepmother to children. Like, they're even calling her mommy and all kinds of stuff, which, I'm gonna be honest, that's kinda quick. After 6 months, these kids are already calling you mommy. You don't even know if a relationship is truly going to last 6 months into the relationship. But you know what? Sure, you know, they probably wrote that in to throw us off and make us think that something crazy happened. But the truth is, they're probably just stepchildren and nothing more. But she has moved on, and it looks like there is a good chance that Peter Parker also has finally moved on. Now, this could be simply a happy birthday kiss from Felicia. That would not be out of character for her to do. But I am really hoping that they do form some kind of intimate relationship, because right now, more than ever, Spider-Man needs that. But let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you would like to get completely caught up on everything that has been going on in the current series, be sure to check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It will get you completely caught up on everything going on with this series. Now, if you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by hitting the super thanks button. This button will let you donate directly to the channel, and every little bit helps us out. Now, if you can't do that, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content that we have coming out, and until the next breakdown.